This week's discussion board has us answering some questions relating to an article we read about Hurricane Katrina and some perspectives coming after the tragedy and all the things that came out about the horrific dealings and situations that individuals that lived in the area had to overcome. And our first question is, what is your response to the discussion of Katrina in the attached document? Reading the document, it brought a lot of really immediate feelings of just disappointment. I think the discussion is very much one that should occur and should have occurred. However, in that same retrospect, I'm not sure if it's a fair discussion in the sense that it was specifically racist. Now, I know that the document doesn't say that, but it heavily aligns itself with that idea. I took some time to look at the numbers, and the Department of Health and Hospitals released a fully published research document noting the causes of death, numbers, demographics, and things like that. And based off the numbers that they noted, which were specific Katrina related in Louisiana, which they identified 971, 51% were black and 42% were white. Now, there is still a 9% difference, but in my mind, it's not a very disproportionate amount. However, I think more of the discussion should be based on socioeconomic class as well as ageism. If you look at that same research, it states that the average age was 69 years old of those that died, again, directly related to the storm itself. And typically, the majority of the people were actually 75 years or older. And I think that that's a fair part of the discussion as well. And I also look at the idea of the socioeconomic status. It notes in there that while the majority of people had the ability to get into a car, to get onto a bus, to just leave, it wasn't an option for, now I wouldn't say the majority, almost all of the people living below certain, certain quarters in New Orleans. And sadly, there was a lot of people in positions that just failed. I can't say that I think that as a country we failed, because I do believe a lot of people, when this occurred, did what they could do. They donated money and went out of their way. So, I look at this and I view this situation as, I don't think we failed as a nation. Maybe we failed selecting and awarding and choosing who we put in place to make the decisions for things like this not to occur. I mean, that is a possibility. I could say we may have failed in that sense. But I think when this happened, after we saw that, and after we realized the devastation, a lot of people stepped forward, and I don't believe that that was something that happened too distant after it. I think our response was rather quick. But some people in higher positions, elected positions, failed to aid those in need. Do you believe your cultural identity affects the way you perceive this event and this information? I had to take some time to think about that question. I think it was a little easier to state the first three. However, if I'm going to be truly honest, if I'm going to be really, really honest, I would have to say, of course, my cultural, white male, middle class, it does affect my perception of the event. It's the reason that I went and looked at the numbers. I guess it's so that I could justify, I don't want to say justify, because I didn't have really a place in what happened, but I would like to think that, again, the majority of people in elected positions are typically white males. And I would be deeply, deeply devastated if the reason they did not react in the way they did was because it was African Americans and people that were low socioeconomic status. I guess it's that hope, that belief that someone, or my race, my gender, the people that are in those positions couldn't do something like that. And I suppose that the majority of my responses, the majority of the things that I've said, are what has probably been pushed down my throat as a white American male. But I guess I have to hold out hope in that idea, and I don't know. I don't know. So that's my response, and I look forward to hearing everyone else's. Thank you.